this game. The Leafs can just lose in reg. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche pregame show live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. Avs taking on the Anaheim Ducks. J. Mike and Rudo coming to you live to talk this one out. We will get into the actual game a little bit later, but obviously the big news of the day, the Avs lock up Gavin Brindley for an additional 2 years on essentially just an extension of his ELC. It's a under $900K deal. I'm curious, J-Mac. Obviously, I'm deep in the weeds when it comes to looking at prospects and young kids on the Avs like this, and I'm always focused on the numbers. From your perspective, has Brindley stood out as much as I think he has?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a guy that pops, and you can look at the overtime game winner, which is an easy example to point to, but it's just the product of hustle, which I feel like has been kind of the staple of his game this year. He's a guy who seems to always be in the right place. He seems to have his, stick in the right spot at the right time.
Yep.
And the production that they've gotten out of him as a guy who, from my estimation, was just kind of viewed as we'll see what happens with this type guy in camp. I mean, if nothing else, he could have never played a minute for this team, and it would have been a good trade just from the successful salary dump. Yeah. And now instead, it looks like you've come out with a viable piece who you might actually be able to, you're not going to build around him. You're not giving the keys to the franchise or anything like that, but potentially a high value piece whose, production has been awesome and the limited sample size. It just feels like a win-win.
Yeah. It's the extension that the Avs signed him to is just risk-free, right?
I mean, it's technically less of a cap hit, isn't it? AJ
by
broke it down.
Wise, yeah. And the thing about deals like that is there is actually zero risk. Like, regardless of cap hit, when it's that small, if things go horribly for whatever reason,
just move on.
You can send him to the minors, and that cap hit is completely covered. It costs you actual $0 against the cap if you send him down. And based on the player you've gotten, I see no reason to send him down indefinitely. I was maybe exaggerating a little bit the other day. I think I said it on the watch along, but we are actually watching a guy carve out a NHL career for the rest of his life. This is a dude who, it's not going to surprise me when he's still kicking around in the NHL a decade from now, earning jobs because of that work ethic you were talking about.
Well, you have the proof of concepts now, right? Was considered a high ceiling prospect coming out of college, but you look at the AHL production last year, it wasn't exactly like it jumped off the charts. It was like 17 points in 52 games or something like that.
Yep.
Now he's already got 3 goals, 2 assists with the Avalanche. I mean,
and that his points per 60 is great because
he's only playing 9 minutes a game.
He's playing fourth line minutes. Other than yesterday, he only played 11. It's not like he was getting shifts with some of the top guys, but it's not like.
But that is big though, just from the sense of his long-term viability with this club.
Yep.
Kind of going back to what you were alluding to, if he was the type of guy who you would expect to get sent down at any point for an extended stretch, that's not a guy you're going to be putting up into elevated lines and giving a shot in OT.
And I don't know exactly where he has opportunity to move up the lineup necessarily this year, because we're finding an Avs team that is incredibly deep, has a ton of options there. But if you're looking at Brindley and you're dreaming on him long term, I won't go as far as Bednar, which you'll hear in a little bit, but I think he can be a middle six guy. He has the offensive talent and ability and skill where obviously he doesn't have the size. He might not be able to do some of the same dirty work that someone like a Ross Colton does, but he has the offensive punch that is a guy that you believe in somewhere down the line can be a 35, 40-point guy for you.
And he can skate with this team.
Absolutely.
Which is always a factor.
Ability. Yep. that's an interesting trait that plays particularly well with the Avalanche specifically. And obviously being able to skate is never bad, but if you had put him on a team where it's a little bit more sludgy, a little bit more grindy on the fourth line, I don't know that it would have worked as well as it has in Colorado for him. And the fact that we're seeing the consistency from him, I think, is what is so important. That's the reason he's in the lineup every night is not, oh, he's a hard worker, oh, he's got skill. It's because he brings it every single night.
I mean, we were talking about him being due a couple weeks ago just because you could see the glimpses, that the point production wasn't necessarily there yet.
Yep.
And now that the point production's there, I mean, I don't know how you take this guy out of the lineup. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, what happens with the fourth and the third line, really, once you get, LOC back and how does that impact things? That'll be something to sort it out.
For sure.
But I mean, you keep producing like this, you're going to have a spot somewhere in that rotation.
There's no chance he's coming out of the lineup. Not for LOC. I don't think for Kivy when he gets back either.
No, I mean, I think at this point he's kind of, at very minimum, probably taking his spot.
Yeah. Kivy's the one looking on the outside right now, for sure, as the 13th forward or whatever you want to call that spot. But it's the thing with Brindley, and I want to try to be as objective as possible. I know everyone loves him. I'm on the same boat. I think he's the coolest storyline of the season for the Avs. The one thing that's holding his back is his shooting ability. And even you look at the overtime game winner, I said it in my review, the actual initial shot I don't like.
Yeah.
It's not very dangerous. It's a very low percentage scoring play that likely ends up in a turnover most of the time, and he's not a good enough shooter to finish it. But then he makes up for it by just working harder than everybody else on the ice to get to that rebound. And that's what you love about him. The willingness to do that will play every single night in the NHL.
I think he has a firm understanding of what his role on this roster needs to be.
He does.
Don't try and do too much. And maybe that is an instance of him trying to do too much in OT, but for the most part.
OT is such a unique scenario that it's hard
how do you gauge it?
Right. In 3-on-3, trying to do too much just means you have all that extra ice to work with, and sometimes it works out, a la that goal. But I do think Brindley does really understand that, and I'm glad you brought that up because he did get a lot of questions lobbed at him this morning at Morning Skate, including some like that. So let's hear what Brindley had to say about the Avs and his contract.
Initial reaction, response hearing that news?
Yeah, obviously excited to be a part of this group, and some pretty elite players in here and a lot of very good guys. So we've had a lot of fun so far, and hopefully we can keep it going.
What are you most proud of in what you've done through these games to start the season here with Colorado?
Yeah, I think just coming off last year, not the best year for myself, and just getting back to my game and getting back to I know what works, and it's been good so far. So excited, very fortunate, and pumped to keep her going.
How has your game changed since you've come to the Avs?
I don't know if it's changed much. I think just the hard work aspect of it, I think just honing in on that, and it's easy when guys like Kels and Barty are playing really well too. So it's been a lot of fun, and not much else to say about it, but it's been good.
When it comes to your line mates too, building as much chemistry as you have with them, what have you learned from them playing through 16 games so far?
Yeah, a lot. I think they're both very aware of what's going on the ice, and we don't have much room for error. And it's been fun communicating with these guys and having a lot of fun on the ice. And I feel like that's the most important thing is having fun at what you're doing and just taking it day by day. So it's been good.
You mentioned last year and kind of it being a tough year. Was there any moment during the season where you kind of looked at yourself, looked at the mirror, any turning point that led you to this point in the extension?
Yeah, I think just honestly going back home for the summer and just getting back to work. I think that was the biggest thing for me is just being home and being back with my buddies and kind of just taking a break from hockey, to be honest, and kind of getting away from it. And it was great summer, and good to get a fresh start somewhere else. And it's been great so far here. I've loved it.
What did you do this summer, or in the summer specifically?
I don't think much changed, to be honest. I think just being at home, being in Florida, I love it. I love being there. I love being with my buddies and love skating with those guys. And I think it helps all of us get better. So I think it's been great, and keep it going.
What excites you the most about signing with this group?
I think the possibility win, obviously. I think every year we have a really good chance to make a deep run, and it's been great to learn from these guys, and it's pretty exciting.
Any coincidence that you scored a game winner or overtime goal and you get this contract?
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty funny how that works, but yeah, very fortunate. Happy that they believed in me, and excited. Very excited.
Exactly a fourth line player in college and junior and minors, I should say. How have you adjusted to that so well?
Yeah, I think it's something that I could do, and I feel like it's something that I've shown in past tournaments and stuff like that when they need me to do it. And I think it's been great. I think it's good to learn that part of your game and learn kind of that grindy aspect of it and try to make an impact every time you get in the ice. So it's been good and very fun so far, and excited.
Look, I don't want to dunk on myself and the fan base too much, but let's be honest. It's easier to impress a fan base or even a media person, outside people. Quality hockey play looks great to us, but what is really impressive about Brindley to me is how much he's impressed the Colorado Avalanche, his teammates, his line mates, his coaches. If you're impressing those guys, you know you're doing something right, and that is where Brindley, I think, has really stood out to me.
He's meeting the standard, which is incredibly high with this franchise, especially when you've got a psychopath like Nathan MacKinnon, you know, keeping everybody in line.
It's the expectation is here is to win. Even Brindley is talking about that. Like, yeah, part of the good deal here is we got a chance to win, and he wants to be a part of that. And that's awesome to see. I mentioned his line mates. Bailey Curtis was at Morning Skate for us and does talk about that a little bit. So let's hear from Bailey too.
What is going on, you guys? Bailey Curtis with DNVR here, bringing you inside Ball Arena for tonight's matchup against the Anaheim Ducks. Two really good teams right now in their own respective rights, but that is not the big news of the day, guys. Gavin Brindley just signed a 2-year deal with the team. He's sticking around after an incredible performance in this past weekend's back-to-backs against the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. 2 goals in 2 games, and in a game where maybe we're not seeing the best hockey from the Colorado Avalanche and the Vancouver Canucks, Gavin Brindley most definitely stood out. Super excited to see what he does in the next 2 years with this team. Got to talk with Parker Kelly this morning as well, who at first was shocked by the news. So we talked with him, but he is super excited to see his line mate get a little bit more time with this team. Says he was really surprised by the way he came into camp and just kind of stood out in his own respective right. Easily the hardest working guy on the team, or at least one of them. Super quick, super speedy, super talented. A really, really good addition to this locker room. Guys, getting back into tonight's matchup, Scott Wedgwood is going to be the starter here tonight. He got the start in Edmonton where he was a shining star, but that entire team was. So excited to see what he can do more again tonight. Mackenzie Blackwood, not starting, obviously, but very, very close. Bednar said he took a really big step from his first game to his second game and really likes where his game is headed. Excited to see him back in the crease more consistently for this team coming up here soon. 7:52 p.m. puck drop, national TV game. We'll see you here tonight against the Anaheim Ducks.
Good stuff from Bailey.
Why can't national TV just tell us what the real schedule is?
I don't understand how I can get with more certainty the times of like multiple team basketball events where there's like 7 games in a day.
Yep. And
I can get a more accurate time than an NHL schedule where there's 2 games.
It's almost funny because you actually can be consistent with it. You know, puck drop is just 20 minutes after the time they tell you. So it's like, just tell us that from the start.
That.
Yeah, like we know better. You should be
not
able
fooling
to figure
anybody.
that out. As looks like Boston should at least be able to finish this game in regulation. So at least we got that going for us.
Let's wrap it up, boys.
I'm saying we need that wrap it up sign from the Chappelle Show. Half our audience probably too young to even know what that show is.
We're showing our age there. Seeing 21-year-old Gavin Brindley had me feeling old enough.
Anaheim's got some of that youth too. We'll talk about that, but let's be honest, you want to hear from head coach, not from us. So Jared Bednar actually quite a bit to say about Brindley, the goaltending, and more before today's game.
Good guys. Who wants to lead us off?
Coach, the news just came out that he's signed Brindley to 2 years. Obviously he's been playing phenomenally, so
Yeah.
A little bit on that.
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, he's a young guy. He's still developing his game, but I mean, we've seen nothing but good from him. You know what I mean? Like he was great in training camp, and was good in exhibition, and he's been really good for us in regular season too. And he does a little bit of everything. Has great skill, a great motor. He's relentless. Fits the Avs identity. I think it's a great signing, and super happy to have him locked up for another couple of years. I think the sky's the limit for him.
You talked about last week that maybe you were missing some guys still that were out with injury that
Yeah.
you could use in overtime. Gavin Brindley provides something. Maybe some of those guys that are out. Is that something that he gave you guys a spark of in overtime?
Yeah, for all the reasons that I just said. That's kind of why I used him. Like he's a great skater. He's hard on pucks. He's a responsible defensive guy, but he also has a lot of skill. Great hands, great shot, all those things. And you see it the other night. And yeah, it's just, getting guys comfortable, making sure they understand it. And I think we have a bunch of players that can play in overtime. I think some of the players we've used can be better than they've been in overtime and have been in past. So, yeah, just, but the more options you have, the better off you are. If someone's having a tough night, you can go to somebody else, and in different situations, you can use different guys. We really like OC's speed, obviously, on it, and Val, and why we use a lot of those guys, because speed can create you scoring chances in overtime if you're defending the right way.
Wedgwood go with that?
Pardon me?
Wedgwood.
Wedgwood, yes.
You saw both goaltenders deployed in England this past weekend. What
Yep.
did you think of Mackenzie Blackwood's second performance?
I thought he was good. Yeah, that was a tough game to play. They made it hard on us at our net front. Like they put a lot of pucks there and a lot of traffic there. It was a lot of mad scrambles. But that was, I also think that's good for Mackenzie. It was a little bit different in San Jose. Bigger gaps between scoring chances against and less shots, and that was a busy game for him. So I think still working through knocking some rust off of his game and getting back in like a busy game like that to kind of remind him what it's going to look like is good, and the practice time's good. So we're at home here for a little bit. We'll get some good practice in. So pretty happy with the growth from this game 1 to game 2.
Jared, has the consistency of your lines lately, has that been the catalyst for momentum of all the good things that happen to you guys right now?
Yeah. I mean, I think all year they've been pretty good, pretty consistent. We haven't had a lot of passengers on any given night. Some nights some guys play better than others, but it's where our depth comes in. And we saw that in the Edmonton game, like everybody firing on all cylinders, and we're able to have a good offensive night. We looked like we lacked some jump in the Vancouver game and some pop. It was a late night. Both teams played back-to-back, but I thought they outskated us for a good part of that night. So we ended up kind of mixing up our lines a little bit in that game. And again, it's just a luxury that we have. If we have some guys going, we can give them a little bit more ice time. If we have some guys not, then we can shrink their ice time a little bit. And, we end up pulling out a big win in Vancouver. But everyone's been pretty consistent to this point in the season, which is why our record is where it is.
Sorry if I missed this, but what to you is the ceiling for a player like that, Brandon?
Well, I think he can be a top 6 forward in this league. Yeah. He plays bigger than his size. The motor, the relentlessness, the skill level, and the brain to go with it is all there. So I think it's really high. He's being used in that role because there's guys I trust higher in the lineup, guys that I want to be part of it and that have played those roles before, and they're doing a great job. But on, like for example, the Vancouver game, he goes with Nate in the third period, almost sends him in on a 2-on-1. Then Nate's line scores, he's part of that. Then he's out in overtime and then he scores himself. I think that's repeatable from him, So we'll keep trying to move him up when he's really going or when other guys are struggling and if not, then he just makes our team deeper and more dangerous offensively while he's playing in the bottom 6.
How did you see him respond to the trade and coming over as a young player, new organization, all that?
Great. Optimistic from day one. Exceptional work ethic from day one. And not just that, like I don't know how much, he was penalty killing before. Certainly was on every power play on every team that he ever played on. Started not on our power play, started penalty killing through exhibition and early in the year. We still have Kivy Rant and OC out who have done that for us, and he's been good. He's taken a little smaller role in the penalty kill here lately, but now he's on the second power play. He's a well-rounded player, and he's willing to learn and add to his toolbox to be able to get more minutes.
This Ducks team is really rolling right now.
Yeah.
What have you seen from them, just in what you've been able to
Dangerous offensive team. And even if it's not in the number of chances they're getting, they are finishing everything off. They get a chances in the back of the net. So really good work ethic, playing at a high pace, deep roster, a lot of young kids that are coming into their own, highly talented. They've been good on both sides of it, both defensively and offensively, but especially at finishing off their chances, they've been really good. They're the top offense in the National Hockey League.
Is this a team like you saw last year that you were thinking this could be a problem in a year or two?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Last you, go ahead, Jesse.
We talk all the time about the process over the results at this point in the season. You guys are up 9-1 against Edmonton with 60 seconds left. You guys are the ones pushing the pace with an 8-goal lead. Is that an example of details, process, and just building the right habits? Doesn't matter what the score is, what time of year it is?
I think it's important. It's part of the message that we're sending. I think, and the guys have bought into that early in the year. And we feel good about our offensive game. We do. On most nights we're creating plenty of chances to win the game. The difference for me and where our record is now is because of the commitment on the other side of it. It's happened earlier. The guys they're more bought into it. They understand what it's going to look like later in the year, and why not get to it right away and sort of build those habits. So it's a commitment. It's a responsibility of our group at this point. It's been really good. It's not always perfect, but I like the conscience that we're playing with. And again, doesn't matter time or score. We still want everyone to do the right things, and we did that. We had some breakdowns against Edmonton, no question. But I think when you get in tight games, it starts to show. I didn't love our first period or second period in Van. Like I said, I think we got outskated for part of that, but I thought our third period was our best period, and we end up getting a win out of that. So we'll take it and move on and try to improve for tonight, which will be a tough game. Really good team coming back off the road. Not a lot of rest here for us recently. Again, that's why we went optional this morning and try to put our guys in the best situation to have success tonight.
Bailey, finish with that.
LOC and Sam Girard out before morning skate today. Sam Girard in a full contact jersey. Is there any update on when we might see him?
Yeah, he's getting really close. So it'll be on this homestand he'll play. Yeah, and OC's still working through some things to try and get back. I'm hoping he's getting close too, but he won't be as early as G.
Okay, thank you.
So there you go. Not just Brindley, but a rundown of tonight's game. Hopefully Sam Girard back soon. Getting into tonight, though, I do agree with Bednar. Anaheim, lots of young, fiery guys. Leo Carlson playing out of his mind this year. The Cutter Gauthier trade also looking pretty darn good on that front with Jamie Drysdale in Philly. A lot of trades between these two teams. Trevor Zegras also in Philly, so that's weird. Anyway, not the point. I don't know. I don't really believe in Anaheim. I think this is more of a young team hot start situation, but they are the top team in the West right next to the Avalanche. Only the Avs are ahead of them, so.
I mean, I think it's kind of like what we were joking about before the show started with that classic Tiger Woods meme.
Yeah. Anaheim is very much Bill Daly, for sure.
John Daly, yeah.
John Daly. Wrong name. My bad.
Yeah, it's like, technically speaking, we are in the same conversation. We play the same sport. Yeah. But these two things are not alike.
I don't disagree with that. And I think you can see some of that with our stat pack here. Avs continue to be a dominant possession team. Anaheim is fine possession-wise. Where Anaheim, maybe you see some unsustainability, they get out-chanced at high dangers pretty decently every single night, and the Avs are the best in the league at that. So that is an advantage the Avs should have.
Key.
Yeah, it's important to get chances to actually score on them. with these last couple of games for the Avs, their finishing has improved greatly at 5v5. They're one of the top 10s in leagues, but so is Anaheim. This is where Anaheim is thriving. Guys like Carlson are finishing their chances at a very, very high rate, and the Avs need to be aware of that. I don't know how much of this is you need Wedgwood to make some big saves, how much of this the Avs might need to outscore this. You look at some of that unsustainability. Anaheim's PDO 1.03, definitely on the high side. And we're still not, PDO is really a stat that you only start taking seriously around game 40 to have a big enough sample size. But Anaheim has been on the luckier side of things. The Avs have been slightly lucky, but not like unreasonably so. So there's a reason to believe there's some unsustainability with Anaheim there. And then I usually don't talk about special teams too much other than like Avs PP bad, ha ha ha. But special teams should play a factor tonight. Both of these teams are really good at drawing penalties, some of the best in the league there.
That's probably what jumped out the most to me was Anaheim's power play numbers.
Yes, their power play numbers are good.
Yeah.
Their penalty kill not as good, so maybe the Avs can take advantage there. But if you were looking for a night where the special teams might be the key, it might be tonight.
At least they look good. I'll give the Ducks that. Kudos for going back to the logo that everybody appreciates. I know the colors are different. It's kind of a mix of the two, but it looks sharp.
I kind of like it with the orange. I think it's a good fit.
I've got somewhere in the closet an old school Mighty Ducks jersey that I got at a thrift store in college for like $6.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, it's honestly an elite find, but now I don't know if I'm allowed to wear it still. If I ever wear it on the show, it's for vibes. I promise.
Not tonight. Any other night, maybe.
Yeah, tonight would have been a bad look. What's up, guys?
I don't know. He used to bring in his old LA jerseys and New York jerseys when the Avs would play him. So, but
I guess if I had an actual NHL jersey that was mine, I might want to flex it a little bit too.
True. A little different when it's like, no, I wore this in a game.
I missy.
Yeah, I really don't know what to make of Anaheim. Like, I don't think
they're a good team.
Good,
like, I don't want to be dismissive of them. I saw some of the reactions in the chat. I was making a joke about them. I think they have a really bright future.
Yep.
It also feels like they're that team that's playing a little bit above their heads, maybe a year or two ahead of schedule. Like, 2-3 years from now, I see this team very much playing a factor in the West. This year, whether they can sustain that TBD. But I mean, a nice challenge for this Avs team nonetheless.
And a lot of that is Dostal in net for them, the young goalie who absolutely has the ability to steal games. He's been good, not great on the whole this year, I would say. So when that downturn does inevitably come and you get regression to the mean for Anaheim, how good can Dostal be for them is the question. It's been a couple of games since it feels like the Avs have got goalied. Hopefully they can keep that rolling and not get goalied in this one.
I had that same thought when you started talking about all the offensive statistics in both of these teams. Everything on paper says we're in for some goals. Feels like a classic 2-1 game.
Totally. I also had that vibe. I thought about taking the under in this game on my.
It's going to have to hit at some point. Like every game in Colorado can't be a 10-goal affair.
Right. It can't keep happening this way. Wedgie in net, I think we've talked the Avs goaltending points to death at this point. So hopefully he can put in a good performance. J. Mike, you ready for your crystal ball? You got a read on this?
I lean more on the lower side of things. It just feels like the vibe that there's not really anything to quantify that per se. But I'm going to say the Avs win a grinded out type game. 3-2.
All right. A 3-2 game. Who's the goal scorer?
I'm just going to keep... Landy is going to score at some point.
One that actually counts. Let's be specific.
I almost threw my iPad in the CSU football press box the other night watching. I was already mad enough about my alma mater, and then they do that to us. I can't take it anymore. Give my man a goal.
I'm done. I love the pick. I'll go 4-1. I'll go a little bit more dominant from the Avs on the night, I think, for my scoreline.
I love that. Late night.
Easy. Don't
take
make
care
it
of business.
Right, exactly. I'll go Marty Necas for the goal, too. I think he's had a couple of... I don't think he was bad necessarily in the 9-1 game, just didn't get on the board, and then he was bad the other night. He was not good.
He does feel due for a nice rebound.
Yeah, so... Taking him on my goal scorer. We do also have my pre-game picks here presented by Bet365, where, of course, things are never ordinary. Did go with the Necas goal. I believe it's anytime at plus 160. on that one. But then also, I mentioned special teams. A Makar power play point is plus 130.
The value of that alone is worth playing most nights.
Anytime you can get Makar plus money for scoring points, you take that. That's for sure. And then my last bet was Wedgwood over on saves because 21.5 is all he has to get to. Anaheim's offense.
Weird, but what does Vegas know that?
Anaheim's offense is too good for that number to be that low. I don't see that unless they all go in and Wedgwood gets pulled, I guess. Maybe that's the script for Vegas. If the Avs get blown out, you'll know why. I did clean shaven. All right, chat. I'm a man of my word. If the Avs keep the win streak going, I'll keep it clean. All right.
Looking handsome. Giving the chat what they want.
Only you and my wife have ever told me that. So
that's real love, man.
That's all I got. Any final thoughts on this one, J. Mike?
I mean, same deal we've said about with a lot of these games and the late night starts. Always am a little worried about coming out slightly lethargic.
For sure.
Don't dig yourself in a dumb hole that you then have to exert a bunch of energy to climb out of.
Yep. And especially as you get further into the season, every ounce of energy you can save just becomes that little bit more important for the next game. We are going to wrap up this pregame show. Watch along coming your way in a couple of minutes. Make sure you click on the right links. The Nuggets are also playing tonight, so be in our watch along and throw all those Avs emojis down. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you there, or at very least, tune in post-game where J. Mike and I will break it all down.
We all silly like the mayor.